Hey guys, it's your Gandalf again. And today, I'm going to be doing a rant on Nigel News' Chick Hicks and Friends. Yep, possibly the worst characters from Nigel News' videos. Basically, Chick Hicks and his friends Jackson Storm, Professor Z, which I hate Professor Z from Cars 2, Miles Axelrod, and Sterling. They basically just play video games like Fortnite, which I freaking despise Fortnite. And they get us some troubles and stuff, and at school, at home, and then to other places, and that's basically what they do. I will say, I didn't like these versions of those characters. I do like the Nigel News versions of Lightning McQueen, Tomater, the agent from Cars 2, which I don't remember the name, Mr. the King, and Cruz Ramirez from Cars 3. Yeah, I enjoyed the Cars movies. I think the first one's possibly hands down one of the best Pixar movies I've ever seen. Yeah, I'd say Cars is hands down one of the best Pixar movies I've ever seen. 2, the second movie freaking sucks. That is the worst Pixar film I've ever seen in my life. And Cars 3 was a great film. Hopefully they'll get a Cars 4 very, very soon, so yeah. Maybe after Inside Out 2 they might release a Cars 4, so yeah. Times can tell, but possibly, maybe after ILO, after ILO they're going to release Inside Out 2, and what if after Inside Out 2 they make a Cars 4, and then they can make a Toy Story 5? I'm not too sure. Times can tell, but we'll have to wait and see. Jackson Storm, I didn't really like, he was awful. I'll say this version of Jackson Storm is awful. I do like Jackson Storm from Cars 3, but not from Luca. The Jackson Storm for Luca is an awful villain. And he's up there with Charles Muntz from Up, Dean Hartscrabble from Monster University, Professor Z from Cars 2, and Evelyn Dever from Incredibles 2 as the worst Pixar villains I have ever seen, period. But Evelyn Dever from Incredibles 2 is even worse than Jackson Storm from Luca and Professor Z from Cars 2. And Charles Muntz from Up, and Dean Hartscrabble from Monster University. Yeah, Sterling, possibly, I didn't even like Sterling that much. I would say, I think Sterling is probably the weakest character from Cars. Same with Miles Axelrod. I didn't really like Sir Miles Axelrod that much. Yeah. And the worst character from Nigel News is Chick Hicks. Yep. He was awful. This version of Chick Hicks is awful. I do like Chick Hicks from Cars, by the way. The movie Cars. But the Nigel News version is a no. It's a no-go. I'll say he was awful. He was one that leads the gang. He doesn't even do his schoolwork. He plays Fortnite, and he always gets into troubles with his friends, and then all of a sudden he's basically evil with his friends and causing a lot of trouble. Yeah, I just don't like this character. Yeah, I'm gonna say these versions of Chick Hicks and Friends Nigel News versions. Yeah, I've watched all the Nigel News videos, and they're really good. They're really funny. But the worst video from Nigel News is Chick Hicks and Friends set the school on fire / punishment day. That video was freaking awful. I cannot believe that Chick Hicks, there's versions of Chick Hicks, Jackson Storm, Miles Axelrod, Sterling, and Professor Z would set a school on fire. But that's, doing that is kind of dangerous. It's also known as arson. Arson's bad. Yeah, I will say. Yeah, I did not like the Nigel News versions of Chick Hicks Friends. I do like the Nigel News versions of Lightning McQueen and Friends, though. But I like Chick Hicks from Cars and Jackson Storm from Cars 3. I'm not too sure about Sterling from Cars 3 or Miles Axelrod from Cars 2, but I really hate Professor Z from Cars 2, though. Farrell's Chin, that's my rant on Nigel News' Chick Hicks and Friends, and bye.